Hi guys, it's Tom from TrainSim TV and welcome back to another video. In this video we will be having a look at the Class 86 Enhancement Pack. This has been released as of the 8th of April 2020 from Armstrong Powerhouse, and at the time of recording this video everything was on the release version. Of course, as time moves on, this video gets older and older. The release version may have been updated since, but currently everything is as it stands as of release. So we are going to try our very best to show you as much or all of the pack where we can. We're not actually going to do a scenario from the pack. That's going to come on a stream, because they are quite long scenarios. Some of them are like an hour and a half, 2 hours and 50 long, and to do that in a video, try and keep your attention it's going to be quite hard doing, and also mine just sitting there driving. So what we're doing is a scenario from Northern Lines Electric. So that is a route from myself, which is available at Vulcan Productions still currently, as the website is currently holding all the stuff on there. So if you do want that route, you can still pick it up. So what we're doing is one of the scenarios that was created by myself for the route, and I have done a clone of one Z86. So what we've done is we've swapped the original 86 reskin over to the new pack, of course. So we will be able to show you Les Ross, which is 86259. As well, we have swapped in the new AP Mark 1s where applicable, and kept a couple of the old VP Megapack ones in just to reflect the reskin and livery that was in this consist, as this is an actual real life scenario of a real life working. And on the back we have Leander, which is one of the Jubilee 5 XP, I think it is, Stania locos. So that is on the rear. So this working went to Blackpool North and originated from London Euston. So basically, let's get ourselves into the cab and have a look and get ourselves set up. Right, so on pause again. So you can hear already the Spirax ticking valve. Make sure this is actually quite high up for you to hear. So that's ticking away nicely. We'll come and have a look outside as well in a moment. What we'll do, we'll get ourselves set up. There's quite an interesting procedure for setting up the loco. Right, so I'm just going to bring everything up because I have the manual, but I do know how to do it. I have actually had a drive of this already just to get myself familiarised, because the tap change is a little bit different from what we're obviously used to on the original sound pack and Class 86 original pack. So I'm going to read you how it is set up on the manual, and I'll show you everything as we go along with this. So I find it here somewhere. Setting up the driver's cab. So what we need to do first is make sure the master key is in, which we all know, which is very easy, which is Shift and W. It's a nice sound on that as well. Feel like a cling when it takes the key back out, so we'll put that in. Now we need to make sure the AWS changing is on by pressing Ctrl and N. Cancel that with Q. Like so. So the pantograph is already up, but if that wasn't up, you would need to make sure you move forward and then press the pan up reset button by pressing P. Notch and lever would also have to be off to do this. So as you can see, that is up. So we're going to open our doors as well. So next up, we need to release the brake pin, which is of course quite standard on the AP products these days on loco. So you press R, keep that held in, and then release the brake. There you go. That's so. Next up, we need to do our tail lights and put the headlights and markers on. So it's K to take the tail lamps, J for the headlights, and then the high beam is H. So markers at the top, headlight at the bottom. So that is all we need to do on there. And the last thing is put our instrument lights on. Now I love this. I think it's the first time I've ever seen anything animated like this. So you put the lights on with I, but if you turn them off, they fade out. That's brilliant. So we're actually due off in a moment. But what I'm going to do is just come back outside and we'll show you the loco. What we'll do is as well, once we've done this scenario, it's about half an hour run. and we're then going to lay out all the locos into free roam, like I've done with other stuff and like how Mark's done in the past, and just show you as much of what I can find. And I'm going to try and set a few bits and pieces up during the video just to show you how you do that in the scenario to edit as well. I will show you the manual a little bit more as well in the second part of the video. So before we get going, I'm just going to take the hood off. So we'll just take a little look around this loco. I thought this one would be quite a nice one to do, as this was also one of the locos that AP did a lot of research and sound stuff on, and this is quite a nice one as well in my eyes, because it's one of those ones that does a lot of tours as well. I mean, I saw this tour as well. This scenario is actually one I saw, so it's nice to come and do it as well in TS, which I've done already, but to do it with this enhancement pack as well is a nice thing to do, because we get to hear the new sounds, of course, and just enjoy it. So just having a look around, we have the 3D numbers on the side there, plated on, rather than the decals like stickers like you would for, obviously, like most of the other part of the loco in other liveries. This is the sandbox cover, I believe. I'm just going to grab up the manual here just to make sure I'm talking to about the right things here. Talking about them. Just make sure I get to the right bit for this. So that's the sandbox cover, that's right. So the next thing on this as well, which is notable, is the GSMR antenna, which is like the little shark fin. Although it's quite hard to see it on the white, but we'll see it on other ones in a bit different colours. But you can see that on there, so that's been modelled. I do believe also, of course, one of the big things was they've done a lot of different modelling. So they remodelled the front, I believe, as well. I've not quite fully read the manual on this one yet, so I need to find out what's what, but it looks a lot different from the original, I must say. Now, I have seen and I've followed progress of this pack, and I was a little bit here and there at first about it, but then I was sort of turned and my opinion changed on it when I started to hear the videos of this. I mean, the first one that swayed me was the actual motor video that AP released, and them sounds really caught my eye, and from there on in I've actually followed a lot more of the progress. When it first was announced, I was a little bit no, I don't think I was going to get it, but I'm quite glad I did, to be honest, because I have done this run already, just to obviously get myself familiar with the tap change and how that works properly on this. But having that half-hour run, really did enjoy it, so it will be getting a lot of use from me. So moving along, we don't see them on this one, but there is new bogies model, which are the BP9s. I will place them down later on so we can have a little look and see the difference on them. Those were the test bed bogies for the Class 87 as well, so there's only a couple of examples of the 86 that carried these, which was 86, 201, 2 and 3, and they had an up-speeded change, obviously, for the test bed of the 87 at 110 mile an hour. Of course, the bogies on this 86 are 100 mile an hour. Moving along, we have the 3D nameplate for Liveries. Now, the Lion, of course, this isn't actually as such been done as 3D. This has been done as a decal, which is a bit of a shame, but at least it's still there. It's quite decent quality, I'd say. But hopefully, maybe one day down the line, we might see a proper crested 3D version of this Lion done by someone in the community. Who knows? You never know. We will examine other bits and pieces to the livery and that later on in the proper lineup. Also, we also have the original number on the back there, E3137. Data panel on there. Again, we'll examine the livery properly later on as well. This is obviously just to look at this loco quickly. The one thing that was a little bit of a shame that I don't think you can do it, but on this one with Liveries, more recently it actually received Peter Pan on the opposite side. Whichever side it is, I'm not sure which side it'd be on, but one of the sides does have Peter Pan as the nameplate. Now, I don't think there's a version of this replicated in the pack. I think the one we have is Liveries both sides, but it would have been nice to maybe have one of each, and we could have chosen had one that would have either side for the more recent years. But hopefully that will come somewhere down the line, who knows. We are also running on the one of the new pantograph, which is the Stone, get this right, Stone Favorly AM BR pantograph. This is one of the new features to the pack, which is really, really nice. Some lovely detail on there as well. Still a rust on the back of the arm there as well. You can see that the dirt and the rust on the skate of the pantograph as well. Overall, that looks really nice. You see all the grime on there, a lot of carbon. The pantograph. So we're running on weathered version 2 as well. I did put weather 3 down, but I think it was a bit too much really for a rail tour working, so I've gone for the middle, so it's not overly dirty, but it's got a little bit of muck on there, as it probably would do really. A bit of grime down the front. So we will go through everything later on to do with all the jumpers and stuff like jumper cables and TDMs and stuff, because there's a lot of different variations there. But this is just a little bit just to get you going there. So I'm just going to take the back out into neutral there, so you can hear it in a minute. If I put it into forward, oh, it's having a bit of a moment there. Put it back into forward. It's already roaring, ready to go. Now, so the next thing, we put the instrument mask back on. Motors, you can do the motor factor as usual with Shift and M and C2L, and that takes that down to 1. So we're going to have it on high end. We also have a choice of having the tap changer audio. So you can have this on or off. If it gets on your nerves, you can turn it off. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to leave it on just so you can hear all this. I'm going to put this into normal HUD, and I'm just going to change my opacity. Wherever that is, it's in that one, isn't it? I've been messing around with it today with work, so I'll just pull that back to where it was. Right, so we're in forward. We need to tab this signal. We can't go yet. We're waiting for a service to come in. Looking around at the cab though, the texture has been redone in here as well. They look quite nice. There's also now the reflection on the window. You can sort of see it on here. It's hard to notice it on this in this weather, but if you have it on a more cloudy, foggy weather and that, you can see the cab quite clearly through this side panel. Windows don't operate. Let's sort of actually take it out of into play mode. They don't actually come down. Obviously, this is the limitation of the model. Obviously, this you would have to have the source. You've also got the little squeak on that. The cab light there. Heavy clunking sounds of the buttons there. We have the wipers. You can change the speed on this as well. The other thing with the wipers is, I know I caught this on the video, but I think it is down to the limitations of the model itself. I don't think without source you can fix it, but the rear wipers do work. Not overly sure on that one. Just to highlight that quickly. Let's take them back off. We do have approval to proceed. I think so far I've covered everything on this for the start procedure, so we will get ourselves moving. So for the tap changer, to put it into run, then into notch, which is this one here. So to notch it, you have to hold down U, and we should, it takes the brakes off, get moving. There we go. There's a bit of a clunk there when it just takes the power there. So the way you have to do this is you keep your finger on U when you want to do the notching. Otherwise, if you take your finger off the U, it'll just go straight up into the full end on the throttle. So when I start clicking, you'll hear every time I press A to do the tap change, you'll hear a clunk. So it's going through the tap. So if I stop talking for a minute. show the needles there as well, so you'll see the third gauge along is where the taps are, so every time I notch you'll see it go up a little bit. The amps are in the green at the minute as well. Notice as well that the actual the throttle, the miles per hour, like I say, the actual gauge for that, it sort of like wiggles around a little bit as it's going up and down. It sort of like doesn't settle. I'm not sure if that's actually part of the actual pack or not. It looks quite cool though, either way. Horn sounds good. No faults with that. So we're going to put a little bit more power on. Near the motor wind there. I'm going to take the motor wind down a little bit just to show you different phases of it. That's on 1. I'm hoping we don't hit this because that's quite close. I think we're alright. So on 1 you don't really hear much on the motor. I'm going to put it back up to the top now, over again. That's quite loud as well on 6, so you do hear the motors quite well when they're working. A little bit more power onto this as well. I'm going to put that onto the outside view now as well. So you can hear the compressor as well powering up there, and also you can hear the motor working nicely now. Where the sort of change as well, the pitch changes. Good sense on the running sounds as well, nice. It sounds absolutely fantastic, I've got to say. I've done a really good job with the sound. A little bit of towel out just coming out of Preston at the minute. I'm going to try and do a little bit of work on this route at some point. Try and aid a bit on the FPS and the towel lag where I can, along with everything else I've got to do. We're just up to 50 miles now. Let's get a bit more power on there. So we haven't got really much of a strenuous run on this. We're pretty much flat level. The route scenarios for this are on West Coast mainline over Shap, so they are quite challenging ones. I do believe that there is a parcels working, a container working, and I'm not sure what the one is. I'm not sure if that's a passenger working. I will just double check in that manual and scroll down to the bottom. It does say in that So you've got the top one is 1S76, which is Brighton to Edinburgh. So that is in-city swallowed livery. You also have 1 Victor 04 Glasgow Central to Bristol Templemead, which is the parcels working. So the first scenario is an hour and 30, the second one is an hour and 20, and then the third scenario is an hour and 50, which is 4S52. And that is the Crewe Basford Hall to Coatbridge working, that's the container one. So there's a good variety in the workings there. It's nice to see 3 scenarios bundled in as well on this. And also you get to use their new AP FTA, FSA container wagons in one, and also you do get to use the AP Mark 1s on that parcel working, so you get to use the parcel stuff and that. As it looks on the picture, there's a good variety of different liveries as well, so you get to see a bit of different colours splashed into your train there. A little bit more power on that. I'll take the motors down a little bit. The other thing as well, for anyone who is a scenario creator out there, there's a lot of different things for you to add and swap and change around on your trains, which we will cover in a bit. There's a nice little write-up as well for the driving guide, so if you're not overly familiar with how these work, do have a little read through. It just touched a little bit as well, obviously setting up the loco like we've done, and also how to do the pan resets and how to notch and stuff like that, just so you do it properly and efficiently. So I'm going to pop this into hold, into run. So you can hear now it's tapping down. I'm just going to hold it there. I'm just going through Solwick now. I will look into hopefully try and get this scenario out somewhere at some point, just so you get to have a play with this. I won't remove the original one from the route. So, the write-up on this one is what's included. There's 20 liveries, which we'll go through. We'll place all the liveries in. Gets newly modelled front details, such as roof and pantographs, the Stone Favourite AM, BR and the Brecknell Willis high-speed pan. Improved cab visuals with new shading, weathering and reflections. So we've also talked about the reflections, which you can sort of see on the video there. And of course the new texture of the cab, which we have also covered. So you can see the grime on there as well over there. Very good. You will also have 150 plus 2D nameplates covering all of the 86/2 subclass. There is a few 3D ones in there. It's nice to see a few 3D ones in. Shame they couldn't all be done 3D, but I know there's a lot of work to be done. I know how much work does go into 3D plates, so one of them. But it's nice to see a few of them have been done. You also get detailed internal and external audio, which is of course what we're going to be hearing throughout the run. Authentic tap changer physics, which is what we are obviously covering throughout the drive to get this right. I'm wrong. No, I'm in the right saying that. Tap down. Wheel slip protection is also implemented onto this, so like all AP product ranges, you'll get that difference in the different types of weather you run will play an effect on how that wheel slip is simulated. Neutral section functionality is also simulated on this. and of course the 3 scenarios which we have mentioned, and there is much more as well. Essential requirement on this one is of course the DTG Class 86. Without that you will not be able to run this pack, which comes to Kirkham as well. Of course, all the scenarios have their own requirements, and there is a big, massive list. I'm not going to read it all out, but the description and everything is in this webpage. I will put the links in the description of the video, so you can head straight over that way yourself. There's a branding patch as well, so the pack comes without the brands or the livery brandings. You pop that extra pack in as usual. Easy job to do. I'm just going to go over a bit of the driving guide. So, moving the reverse into the desired direction of the travel with W or S, W forward, S for reverse. You will need to hold down the reverser lock by using the F key at the same time. Then we need to move the brake handle to running 24% by pressing semicolon, so which is how you usually do it. I'll put some more power into this. It's just starting to take some more power now. Towards 70 miles an hour, so we'll do it a little bit. As soon as possible, you need to then move your notching lever into notch up 80% and then back to hold at 60% by pressing A and U at the same time. This will increase the tap changer by 1 notch for every to and fro movement. Do this repeatedly until you have notched up enough power to get the train to move. So it's all simulated. That's simulated really well by the sounds of that, of course. That'll take a lot of moving as well when you start to do your heavier trains with your container stuff. This is quite an easy train to pull on, I would assume, really. We're not going up shaft or anything like that, so when you're coming out of T-bay and stuff like that, you're going to need a lot of work to get that going. And no doubt I will figure that one out and come to learn that when I do one of the actual scenarios in the stream. So there'll be more pressure on me there with that. A bit more power. Of course, rail conditions permitting, continue to notch up the power whilst aiming to stay in the yellow zone of the ammeter, which we are in the yellow zone now, just to pick some power up. You may stray briefly into the red zone, but not for any length of time. If amps exceed 1700, the traction motors will overload and a light will illuminate for the fault. You must then press the pan up reset button to fix that, and then the engine, the line light will then come back on. So the line light is of course the light which is on the top. The fault is the sensor. And of course there's train heat as well, actually. No idea which button that is, if that's simulated or not on this. I couldn't tell you. I've not got that far. Anti-slip brake, that's on. So you can reset is this one here. Also, if you only need to reduce power slightly, you may notch down by moving the notching lever into notch down 40% and then hold it 60 again by pressing D and U at the same time. This will increase the tap changer by 1 notch for every to and fro movement again. If you're looking to reduce the power significantly or shut off completely, you may use the run down 20% notch, and the notching lever will continually notch down to the tap changer for you, so that when we've been sat there you'll hear it just tapping down itself. That's what it's doing. So it'll go down to the 0% there, which will shut the engine power off. That way, if you're doing that, you then have to actually wait for it to get back down to 0 before you can reapply the power, like we did before. you can't sort of like leave it, you have to then let it come down and settle before you set yourself back off again to gain your power. So like we're doing that now, we'll just let it settle itself down because we're going to be coming into Poland, we will slow it down shortly. If you do then wish to apply power at speed, you may use the run up to 100% notch on the lever, and it will continually notch up with the tap changer. It's not recommended that you use the notch up from that setting from a stand. You'll most likely overload those traction motors. So yeah, coming from a standstill anywhere, like let's say you're going to bring your container train out from Shat at T-Bay, and you notch straight up there, you're going to overload them traction motors. It's not recommended to do it. When you've got some speed behind you, that is when you can go into there. And then finally, to brake the train, use any service setting on the train brake handle between the first application at 40% and the full application at 70%. To provide a smooth stop, it is recommended that you're in first application as you come to a stop. So that is your 8-step guide on driving the loco. There's a lot to digest, but it's pretty simple once you get going. AP have also provided a dead variant. So a bit like with the Class 68 where they had the dead versions, if you want 1 and 2 together, you'll see it in the scenario list of locos, he'll have dead in brackets, so you can find that that's the actual dead version, so you can run one loco and have one like as dead weight, if you will. And that will also make sure that your pantograph stays down. It's all ideal for the dragging scenarios as such. You can hear the rheostatic braking as well. A lot of clunks and stuff. You hear a lot of noises on this. You really do hear the loco working. Every little bit of it. You feel everything in this, and you know what's going on. There's also a section in the manual for bits and bobs. So in this section it's dedicated to aspects of the pack which do not warrant a dedicated section, but they are still of note. I'm just going to put some power on this as well. There we go. That'll gain some power. So, comprehensive section, a selection of the 2D nameplates are included for the 86/2 subclass, and a handful. So it also actually says there's a handful for the 86/4, because it doesn't say that on the actual website. So there's some for the 4 class. Also, you've got the 86/1 subclass that has amended physics with the maximum top speed of 110. So that's nice that they've done that with the BP9 bogies. Which is good. You get a 1 second delay between the train passing over AWS magnets and the AWS sound going off. F3 and 4 HUD will also show the warning immediately, but you must make 1 second before you actually try and cancel it. So the HUD obviously doesn't show the delay. So if you see it and you press it straight away, don't worry if it hasn't gone out, it will after that 1 second. Also, it says the headlight only provides illumination before sunrise and after sunset, so that's nice. This is also then to avoid unrealistic appearance of the projected light in broad daylight. So you're not going to see anything lit up like going past bridges and stuff like that light up in the day, only at night time. Make the tap changer audible. in the cab by pressing C on T. So that's what you're hearing, them clicks of the taps. You can hear them going off. That's with me pressing C on T. As per reality, the speedometer needle wobbles. So it does. So that is a feature. So we found that earlier, and I wasn't too sure. So it does it with the actual pack. That's good. Instrument lights illuminate and extinguish gradually and not instantly. So that's another feature which I found early on, which was one I love that. That them got like just going off. I'm going to take power off now. We are coming to Blackpool shortly. Also, variable speed of windscreen wipers, which we've covered. The visible driver automatically moves to whichever cab you're in. So you've got a dynamic driver basically. So if you change cab, the driver will go to whichever cab you're driving from. In-cab details which state the locomotive number, which are these up here. Maximum speed permitted and the cab number and all that lot. So we'll give you number one end and stuff as well. You can hear the rear static brakes kicking in again. And also the body side data panel shows the correct subclass 2. So we have covered all the basics of the driving and the bits and pieces there. The only things we haven't covered, of course, are all the other bits and pieces like the extra cables and stuff that have been modelled and the front ends, and of course the liveries. We will be showing them shortly. One thing I did notice with this cab is that there isn't the new GSMR. Now I'm assuming I've got it right because it does say GSMR 1, but we'll check it out properly with the manual. But at the minute I haven't got it, so I don't know if that's an extra thing you can add. I couldn't see anything in the manual about the GSMR. I assume this is the older version, which it will be. Doesn't seem to have the newer version in there at all. TPWS and stuff as well. There's a TPWS panel on the real life version of Liveries, which that doesn't seem to be there. But we will cover everything in this the manual in a minute and just see what's what. You really do feel like you're driving the train with all the extra little sounds going off. Really am pleased with the sounds, and I'm really pleased with the drive and how the train feels. Got the local brake there as well. Really big burst of air release in there. Hello. Right, so we have arrived at Blackpool, so we're going to put the lights off, tail lamps on, just so it's ready for later on. So what we'll do is in a minute we will swap over to a dedicated free roam for this. And that way then you can have a look at all the liveries rather than just seeing them on the screenshot. We'll take you for a look around as many things as we can find, and we'll just have a gradual look over all the liveries and just make sure everything looks in order. See if we can find anything that might require fixing and stuff like that, from what I can tell. We'll also look at the other pantograph. I'll make sure we get both of them out so we can side by side them. If I can, I will place the original 86, one of the 86s off A-piece packs, and try and put them side by side just so we can see the difference in the changes too. So you will join me in a moment over on our next section. So you join me back at Blackpool North in the carriage sidings this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the liveries first of all, and then we're going to try and get as many variants and bits and pieces on these as we can. So to get these into your own route, scenario, or whatever, you need to first of all go down to RSC by clicking the filter here, the filter, object filter thing. go down to RSC, which is there. You need to find the Class 86 pack, which is somewhere around here. There it is. So you need to tick that. Next up, you need to click the AP pack, and you go down to 86 EP. This is all outlaid as well in the manual, so it's easy enough to do if you're not overly familiar with doing scenarios yourself. So you click that, and that is everything enabled. So we need to find them in the list, so we'll just scroll down till we find the Class 86s, which are these ones here. So the first ones are the Liveries ones, so what we'll do is, and you can see as well the dead in bracket, that means that when you put it down, you see the way the pantograph has dropped down there. If I put a normal one in, the pantograph's up. So I'm going to put them in. I'll start somewhere well over here, because I'm going to put them in different ones as well. I'm going to put different weathered versions in. So that's that one. Just so we can see the different states of grime on these as well. And get them without messing up on the point work there. So that's them ones. So you can see already the different states of grime on them. But we'll do this and we'll put them into play mode for the first part. So we have the next one, which is Anglia. So we have that one. A little bit dirtier, and then final one, which is the next grubby version. BR Blue Modern is our next one. So that's one there, and weathered free there. Try not to space these too close together on line. I'm going to leave a couple of lines apart just so we can get the sun catching on them as well. So next one is normal BR Blue. But you can see we've got all the different jumper cables. So we'll put 1, 2. So that's a front-ended one as well. You see there, which is the original head code box plated over. We want weathered free on that one as well. BR Blue 2. There's all different types of BR Blue, different shades of blue, which are covered. Weathered free as well. I do like the weathering on these. Next up we have train load. Weathered 2 and weathered 3. We'll leave another space there. We'll come down here. Next up is Caledonian Sleeper. 8641 as well. That one has just gone, I believe, to West Coast Railways. Just been sold. So it's nice to see that one there as well. So weathered 2 and 3 again. We have Electric Blue, which of course is Liveries. That's the old one actually, I do believe. So you can see the difference. If I go back up here, you can just see the huge difference between the two. I mean, you can see the difference in the data panel, the yellow panel on the front, the warning panel, compared to that as well. They're just the shades of blue as well. You can tell so much different. Put that up. Right, so the next one's EWS. EWS with 2 and 3. The next one is XBR train load. so many different ones with all these different types. If we had all this in a normal scenario, it'd probably just kill the game. XRFD. I mean, you've got a lot covered here, but there's still a lot of different versions that haven't been covered. Stuff like Network Rail ones would have been nice as well to see. Is it ETL? Electric Train Load, I think it was called. Coalesce Rail as well. Some of the more obscure ones would have been nice, such as the foreign stuff. Is it Floyd? Was it the Floyd livery? It was the all black livery with purple writing, I think it was. Stuff like that would have been nice to see. Next up we have Freightliner. So this is the old Freightliner. That's the next up we have Freightliner 2, which is the green one there. Not to be mixed up with the Power Hull livery, which will come up next, I would have thought. I'm sure these have all got the same pantograph, you know. I think they've all got the same pan on them. Oh no, that one's not. No, so we have different pantographs already in there, so we don't have to mess about with that. Let's get the other green livery in there, the dirty version. There we go. Next up we have Freightliner 3, so this will be the Power Hull livery. This is the most, I think, the most updated livery on a 86. I mean, we have got the newer orange and yellow Freightliner livery, but I don't think that's actually ever been applied to an 86, as far as I'm aware. I'll move this just over here away from these boxes, just so we're not overly covered up from the sun. Freightliner Grey, this is an original one, I think. Yep, that's an original one. You can tell that's original. The difference in the lighting gizmos. So if we put this next to a Freightliner Grey, again to see the differences we have. There's a lot more detail in the front there, even like with the lights as well, the lights in the box there. A lot more detail in them. A lot more. These little panels there as well, but you can see them a lot more clearly on there. Whatever I'm not too sure what these are, these little panels, but you can see them a lot more better than them. And as well, the difference being is that the front end now isn't as dark. The shadowing on the old version was a lot darker, whereas on this one it has been fixed as well, which is nice. We've also got a lot better detail on the roof there as well, the grille. Different couplers as well, you've got new couplers modelled in there as well. So we have done the Power Hull livery. We next have Intercity. So we'll pop this one down here. So this is Intercity 1. This is the... What's Intercity? That's the /4 there. I'm going to make sure we get the right bogies in here as well. Right, so go through all these, get these ones in. Oh, we've got enough track. That's the next worry. Not really smart then. Intercity 1 to BHC. Blackhead code box there. There's a lot of differences. You can really go to school your scenarios with these. Intercity 1, 2. There's a lot of different types of Intercity as well featured. Go back down here. Start just behind the wash, so we've got the sun in the front. Intercity 1, 3 blackhead code. The detail on the blackhead code is quite cool. Intercity 1 free. I feel like there's a lot more in the city to go through yet. I mean, I don't even know a lot of the difference. I've lost where I'm at as well. It's that one. I don't know a lot of the differences with these intercity liveries as well. I mean, I know the more recent ones, but a lot of these I've not really got much clue on the sort of years these wore this livery. I'm assuming these are more the earlier days of Intercity Light. Intercity 4. There's obviously little differences in these, but I'm going to place them all down just so we see them all. And we can see how many are actually in the pack when we get to the whole thing. But I mean, you can see already like, the amount of different ones we've got in there. A lot. Intercity 2. God, there's loads. There's tons. Wow. Those are the old ones. Right. I don't think we've got enough track to do all this, by the way. So what I'm going to do, just for the last bit, I'm just going to place a few examples down at the front just of each livery. Because we can clearly see there's a lot. So, let's pop that one in. This is the more Intercity I know. There we go. More familiar with. Let's go to Intercity Swallow. So these are the more later Intercity liveries. Swallow on the side there as well. Network Southeast, which is a bit of a one-off really, because this is the only one that covered this livery, I do believe. 401. We have Parcels. Not sure if that's just if I change that, takes the name off there. Oh God, what have I done? I will just leave that. I've done something there. You'll be able to make it come back. I'll just remove some. Next up we have Rail Freights. I think this is an old one. That's an old one, isn't it? Red and Black is Virgin. This is the only one, of course, that doesn't have the actual naming for the branding. This has been a thing for quite a while with AP products of not allowed to put branding even with the branding pack. But no doubt, and I have already seen somewhere that someone's working on some branding for this, so those will be available at some point somewhere. Res. Parcels as well, the more up-to-date one before that sort of Royal Mail times. Rail Freight Distribution, and that's it. So I mean, we would have well over accessed and filled this yard up with that list. I can go with a couple of different examples next to each other before we go and have a look around. So you've got, I mean, these are the more recent liveries for AP off their old sound pack. But even then, you look at the two. I mean, that's got all the jumpers at the minute. I need to mess about with all that, but you can see the difference. I want to place as well a BP9 bogey set, so I need to figure out how to do this. I'm just going to refer to the manual when I find it. Some at the bottom. Right, numbering now. That's the logo and stuff. Nameplates, overhead warning stickers. So we can place different warning stickers as well. So if we go, let's go to the old. Let's go to this one. Right, so the warning sticker for the OHL is, it's the usual way of doing this as well. It's all in the manual. So You can't do it on that one. I'm gone. Apparently. If we go to Intercity Swallow, which is somewhere over here. There. And we can put OHL equals, and the next note's the number. So we go for old style, put number 2. There we go. It changes to the old style on that. And if we put number 1, that's the new style. So that's how you do that. It's as easy as that. A couple of clicks of a button. There's another one which is quite an interesting one. Now you can do reversing motor whine. When changing direction, the motors will make a distinctive high-pitched whining sound that fades away over time. After one reversal, this sound activates automatically, but to enable it at the start of the scenario, put RW1. So if you've got a scenario, I assume this is when you've got a scenario, if you're going to be doing a reversing move, you can put this RW equals 1. So when you go backwards, you get the different sounds. So that'd be nice to see in some scenarios. No point, we're not going to do that now because it's a lot of faff, but it will get covered, I would have thought, on some streams and stuff soon enough. We'll try and find some scenarios and cover that. What else have we got here? So we can take the high intensity light off as well. So if we play about with this, so HL equals 0. There we go. That takes that off. Although it does look a little bit pants. I don't know if it's meant to look like that. We'll leave it like that and see what happens, because it might sort itself out when we go into scenario. Plus play. Right. Sandbox covers. We might as well just do this on this one because we can just play about with it. So we can take the sandbox cover off. Or add it. More to the point. I'm not sure if you can take it off though. SB equals 0. No, you can't do that. So that's on as default. So we can't do anything with that. Nameplate. You can change the nameplates from 1 to 2. Obviously some locos won't have had 2 nameplates. Oh, there you go. So you can change the colour on that. So between red and black. You can have rectangular buffers. So for this one, rectangular buffers, you go B equals 1. There we go, like so. GSMR antenna. So currently we haven't got one of them on here, so we can add that. This will be the most pimped up Intercity Swallow 86 ever seen. By the time we finish with it. So to do this is GSMR equals 1. So that should put the shark fin on. There we go, like so. So we can see that now. You can see it a lot better when it's not white. Easy to see. Pimp my 86. What else have we got here? Right, so it's sort of now it's down to the jumper cables really. So what we'll do on this example, let's play about with these. So original multiple jumpers, you go J equals 1. There we go, so that's the originals. I mean, I might not have done this right, by the way, because it's covering all sorts of stuff up here, so there might be something I've done wrong. But this is just a little bit of a play about. So number 2 is like so. So it does all sorts of stuff. You have to really have a good read. So if we take that back off, it does that. I wonder if you can take the OH off. You can take them off as well. You do need them on, of course, but did it go elsewhere? No. Yeah. Without looking and proper reading into it and knowing your setups of the locos, it's quite hard to figure out what's what. But once you've done that and played about, you'll get to know them. I'm just simply just showing you what differences there is. So TDM. So we put in there TDM equals 0. So you see here we've got all these shadows. Now I don't know if this is going to stay like this in play or not, but the minute they disappear, so we put number 1, they're back. What else have we got? The other interesting one is you can actually have a guard to driver signal. So without putting this in, what it'll do is if you're doing a passenger service, it'll give you the beep, 2 beeps in the from the guard to driver. But you can actually have, rather than the beeps, so if it's a service that operates with a flag and whistle, you can change it by putting G equals 1. Now we had that on the snow we've just driven. You might have noticed that we had a whistle at the departure of Preston whilst I was waffling on. But if you didn't, we did have that in there. So that is done by G equals 1. Over the line warning stickers. It's all sorts of different ones there. You can change them for different types of train. Nameplates, same again, MP. So you can control the nameplate by nameplate. So MP equals X. The first nameplate carried is by the loco is relevant to number 1, and the second nameplate in its live would be number 2. For example, 86240 Intercity Swallow was MP1, will show Bishop Eric Tracy or Tracy with a red background, and then number 2 is same again with a black background. MP0 takes the nameplate off. You can have all sorts of numbers as well. N equals 2. You can have large numbers and small numbers. Logos and stuff as well. You can remove logos on the side and stuff like that. If we go to BR Blue, somewhere over here, hiding. So let's have a little look. If I can figure this out. So L equals 2. Oh, God. What have we done? 1. There we go. So you can take the numbers and all sorts off there. Now, if I put 201. Hey, there we go. That's the new bogies. Those are the BP 9s. So they all work off the number. Pantograph is the new one, so P equals new. It's new. So if we put old, I assume it will change. There we go. So that's the Stone Faverley. If we put new back in, that is the other one which I've forgotten the name of. I've got the name. I'll do it properly. Brecknell Willis, high-speed pantograph. I did say I'm useless at this sort of stuff. I'm sort of like reading off the manual, just showing you what you can do, just so you get a good idea on how and what the pack is all about. But as you can see, there is a lot of stuff covered on this. Now I'm going to go into play mode, just to take all this edit stuff off. We'll just have a look around the locos and just have a look at the liveries. If I hopefully have put these right, we might be in some form of order, and I don't think we are. It'll take a minute to load up because we've got a lot of 86s in place. There we go. So we'll start off with Les Ross. Just looking at the livery there. So we've had a good look around this already. Overall, very good. Lovely colour. I do like this livery. I mean, the only one thing for me is that it's not got the 3D lion on the side, and it doesn't have the option to maybe have Peter Pan on or off. I mean, this one was the one used on the recording sessions. I'm not too sure if he's done any more recording sessions or not, but I would have thought maybe it'd be nice to have the 3D line on there as just as a little bit of a nod to the research trip and stuff like that. But never mind. Overall, lovely. Massive difference from the original reskin that was available. That's just the different weathering. So you can. That's a clean one. This is weathered 2, and then obviously weathered 3. You can see the difference with all the dirt up the side there. Next up we have Anglia. Oh, we didn't look at data panel, did we? So the data panel, I caught this is I didn't mention it in the video, but I caught. You can sort of see a little white line on the edge in there. It's not massively noticeable, but you see it more when you get close up, but otherwise it's all good. So let's just have a look at that. So we've done that one, haven't we? So we changed the one with a different bogies. Let's see if it changes to 110 on the data panel. That'll be the one thing to look for. Now which one was it? 201. So 86201. It's got the 110 mile an hour bogies, but it doesn't say anything on there. Now whether it was changed or not with the bogie swap over is a different thing, but it doesn't say anything for the 110 mile an hour working. Now, if anybody does know if that was a thing that actually did happen and it got changed over, pop it in the comment section just so we know on that. We'll go back to Anglia. So again, livery is nice. There's a little bit there on the from the front panel and down to, like the side where the white stripe is. It doesn't quite meet up there. This I'm assuming is where the model the different front end, but yeah, the white stripe doesn't match up fully. Overall though, the colours are good. Looks fine to me. Bar that long little bit there. Nice clear logo in there again. Data panel there too. Got the number on the front there as well. Moving on. So these are the start of the BR blues. So this is the modern one, I think it was. Looks very good. New coupler as well on there. Has been modelled. I don't know. Originally it was like a horrible rusty thing. Make sure we just looked at the right ones here. I've not changed it. No, yeah, they're definitely right. That is definitely 201, which is one of the ones that did hold. It was 201 and 202 and 203, which held these BP9 bogies, which were the test bed for the Class 87. So again, these different versions. Moving on. BR Blue 2, I think this was. Different jump. I think these are the original jumper cables as well. Round. I think they're all round bogies. Round buffers. Sorry, as standard, unless you state that you want the rectangle ones. We put them on that one. But yeah, I think they're all round as standard. Just check and see there's no glitch in the paintwork there, which looks all good to me. A little bit low res around the sandbox. I think it's sort of the original model with some child objects that have been put over the top, so like the hinges and the little latch. But other than that, it's a bit low res on there. Again, the dirt on the front's nice. We've not looked at the top actually, the detail on the top. So this is the Stone Faverley pantograph. So you can see the detail on top of there, and then obviously the difference is the Bracknell Willis high-speed pantograph there. I do like this one. Nice detail on it. Moving on, we have another BR Blue. I think there's BR Blue 3. Loads of different ones. Again. Nothing really to note out, really. There's nothing I can see really wrong in terms of that. So we'll move on to that one. I forget which one this is. Useless with this sort of stuff. This is train load, I think. Yep, train load. Let's go to me manual for this. The other thing would be nice would have been like the 2D, rather than all this 2D stuff, I have it 3D. I know getting more and more stuff like that, you are pushing price up. I mean, this is I think it's the most expensive enhancement pack so far. I think. I'm just going to refer back to EPs here. Obviously, this is $16.99. I'm not sure what the 158 was. I'm not sure if that was one an expensive one either. Enhancement for the multiple pack. So, oh no, sorry, it's not most expensive. I do tell a lie. The Cummins enhancement pack was also $16.99. But that obviously did have nameplates and stuff anyway. I mean, we've got the front end remodeled. We haven't had any new cabs or anything. Whereas the 158 did get a new cab. But yeah, mate. Well, I do have an eye on detail. I do like to see the 3D stuff. I think it brings out your model. There's a lot more as well, but we can't really fully grumble on it because we've had a lot of new stuff added onto these. You've got the whole front end. You've got all these new jumper cables modelled in. You've got the new bogies as well. Of course, you've got the new sounds. You've got the new pantographs. When you weigh it up and then you expect 150 plus nameplates and then all these depot plates as well, you've got a lot of work on your hands there. So I can understand not adding them as 3D. But of course, there's a couple of them. The questionable thing is how come there's only been a few of them done in 3D, which is a strange one. Which is a bit inconsistent, if you will. But it's nice to see some 3D ones, though. I'm not going to grumble on that. So that's them ones. Other than that, I can't really see anything sticking out, really. It all looks to be neat and tidy enough. Everything seems to be in place. Can't see any dodgy texturing out like that. Any glitches in there. I've not seen anything jumping out at me, which is good. We shall move on. Next livery. So this is Caledonian Sleeper. So these will be used quite a lot up down the West Coast main line, which would be nice to see in some scenarios. Again, a standard enough livery, really, quite a basic one with a logo. We've got a black data panel on here though. There's a little bit of a difference. We're not seeing a black one yet on the these. Mons Meg. You've got the Caledonian logo there, the stag. Again, nothing jumping out at me there, which is good. Next up we have EWS. So the stuff for this is looking if it all lines up. So if you go side on there, you can sort of see. Now there's a little bit of a dip in there, and there's a slight little bit. Pick it up on there, where it sort of joins there. There's a little bit of it's not fully lined up properly, but otherwise, when you zoom out, you can't really tell. It's just if you zoom fully in. It does look nice. That catches the sun nicely. Got EWS logo in there as well. Again, nice detailed logo. There's no the main thing I'm looking for is like, other than these little bits that aren't joined up fully, any odd paintwork in the texture that shouldn't be, like, say for instance there's a bit like anything like bleeding over where it shouldn't be and stuff like that, but which I can't see, which is good. Moving on. back to the manual because I have no idea which one this is. Bear with me 2 moments. Pass on which one this is. Is it just without the logo of one we've already shown? I can't actually see it in the manual, this one. I don't remember which one this was, what we put down. Oh, hang on, I might have found it actually. It's train load. Is it X train load? It is, it's XPR train load. Trying to look at it in the book. It looks lighter than it does in the manual. So this is a pretty easy one to do. It's just the depot plate logos took off. All looks good. This one rail freight distribution, I think. Or X, shall I say? Yep, this one's X rail freight distribution. So we've got the one with logos further up. We'll get around to that. So again, pretty easy enough. This one, it's just a standard base. Moving on. So we have Freightliner down here. These are all showing the same plates by the looks of it. I have not changed any of them over. So they're all showing the same one, unfortunately. If I'd known that, I'd have changed a couple around. A little bit jagged around the edges on that one. Not sure if that was meant to be like that, if it's like that in real life or not. Obviously, these are well before my time. Looks good enough though. Catches the sun nicely as well, which is what I do like. Oh, Freightliner. These are the ones I'm quite familiar with. This is the Freightliner green. One thing we haven't seen is the Zero Injuries logo, which is somewhere on the side of these. That would have been nice to have as another little feature. Though I have seen elsewhere that this has actually been done by someone. I don't think it's been released yet, but I've seen. There's another bit of detail on this sandbox cover as well. This one's actually got the surround on it, and also the hinges and the clamp, the little clip. It's looking good. Don't worry about that. It's just because I've been an editor. It's sort of got the yellow around it because I've been highlighted over it. You'd have to restart the scenario to get rid of that. I mean, if you see, I assume it's like that, unless it's meant to be like that colour. Could be wrong. Looks like it's been when you've been an editor. Moving on to Power Hall. This is a bit more of an interesting livery. So you look at this one. This is where you're going to look at the sort of like joins and stuff on the livery, where pieces have been joined together. So again, the main thing is just where the join is on the cab end and the side there. But it does look very nice. That lots of grime on it as well. Nice and grubby. Fly splats and stuff. So that's the Power Hall. Next is the mass load of intercities. We'll just have a quick look at these. I don't have a clue what's what regarding these, so we'll just have a little look at the liveries. Blackhead code again. I like the black on there. I like the effect it has on it. Like bubble paintwork. I don't really recall about really seeing many images of them like this, so this is quite interesting to see them in game. It's just got a million different jumper cables. I'm not sure if they've ever ran like this or not, but unless it's just a game just placing those different things in, because I've not really done any tweaking with all these. I've just plonked them in. But yeah, they are looking very good. These early entities. Just stop here, just go back down. Liverpool Daily Post. So these are more the back end of Intercity. Swallow. So it's still got the shadows there, so I don't really know what's going on with that. There must be some tweaking required, or some certain ones wouldn't have stuff taken off. We've got Net Southeast. This one looks really smart. This is the one-off. Celebrity 86, if you will. In its own right. And everything looks good in Network Southeast as well. It looks superb, that does, in the sun. The only time this 86 ever got to Blackpool in this livery. I'm assuming. It will have been, because there's never any juice, so I don't think it's ever been dragged up here. This is Parcels. So again, quite a basic one really. It's just obviously the red and the black there. It matches up nicely. So this is Virgin, so this comes up as red and black. Bear in mind again, no logos at the minute for Virgin, but I have seen that someone's doing some elsewhere, so do keep your eye out on the groups and pages for this. The next one we have Res. St Edmund. And the final one, Rail Freight Distribution. So overall looking very, very good. So for your £16.99 you get all that. You get 3 scenarios. Well, there's more than them, we just don't place them all, but you get all them and a few more different variant bits and pieces. You get the 3 scenarios in there. You get all the new sounds and all the new physics and stuff like that implemented. You get a lot of more hours of fun in TS with this. I hope the video has been beneficial to you. I'm just going to quickly drag over the manual just so you can see the extent of it. It's 33 pages long. I'm not going to read it to you, but of course you can see in there the different sections. Usuals at the beginning, and it goes through your different liveries, and so there's a lot of different ones there. You can see all these different types. It tells you what you get under each one. So as we oh, hang on, wrong one. So as you can see, we've been placing loads of different ones. There's a lot of different types covered, so it will take you ages to go through them all. But we've tried our best to show you a number of different bits and pieces there. So you can see also actually the jumpers did work on different ones, so that's quite interesting. So they are actually showing up right. But yeah, that's all the liveries there. I was showing on AP's livery lineup on the Facebook page as well. And then we also, this is where the keyboard controls are for you there. So there's all sorts like different keybinds. Then it goes through your different features there on the fronts, and also on top of the roof, your pantographs, and then the bogies, rectangular buffers, and then your sandbox covers and stuff. GSMR antenna. It goes on about the cab improvements, so you've got your new textures and stuff like that. It talks to you about the tap changer, braking, all about the brakes and how they work, stuff to do with the neutral section as well, how you operate with that. Wheel slip protection, the little chart that you usually get with all your AP stuff with how what's what, or what sort of slip you'll get at different times of year. Vigilance, guard to drivers, stuff. This is then where you start tweaking your own consists and for your scenarios, where you put your different bits and pieces in. So coming down here, this is what we've been doing. So there's all these little tweaks you can do. There's a lot of them. Do read up on this. Don't just go in there blind. Do have a read if you're going to start making scenarios and you want to get the right look for your scenario and what you're trying to like replicate. Scenarios also mentioned at the bottom, which we've covered there as well, and then the credits. So the credits go down there. Nicholas Shishin for scripting. David Grief and Letters Ross, special thanks as well for recording, assistance for recording sound. So I'm assuming that all the sounds were recorded on Les Ross and possibly whatever they've had left over in the library from maybe the 86 original sound pack, which might have had a few bits used here and there, I'm not too sure. But that covers all of that. So this leaves us at the end of the video, guys. So I do hope the video has been beneficial to you, and it hopefully maybe sways you or doesn't sway you, whichever way you want to go with it. I'm not going to go and tell you to go and just buy the pack. It's totally up to you. But I've fully enjoyed what I've played and seen so far, and I'm going to enjoy it some more over the next coming weeks. A bit more playing. I'm going to do some West Coast over on the streams, so do keep an eye out for that. And in future streams as well, we will be covering the pack. Links are in the description below on there. Everything that you've seen will be in there, and I will also pop a link for the manual more than likely also, even though you can get that on the AP website. So yeah, so that rounds up the video. So £16.99. Do you think it's worth it? Why not take a look? I've been Tom. This has been TrainSim TV. Don't forget you can follow us on our Twitter at TrainSimTV_Tom or TrainSimTV_Mark. Tom's channel, which is myself, is the one that's live most on a Wednesday and Friday usually. There's been a few changes at the minute with the corona situation stuff, with situations at home and that. It's just a bit more hard to get stuff done, but we're trying our best to get stuff out and videos and streams, so do bear with us on that. Hopefully everything will be back to normal and soon, fingers crossed, if we all behave ourselves and do as we've told. We can get back to some normality. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Any feedback or whatever, if you've seen anything I've missed, do pop it in there. Hopefully people at AP might see the video and have a look and see if they might spot stuff that, and maybe implement some stuff that might require a fix down the line. But so that's it really. Thank you ever so much for your time and watching, and we will see you on the next video. Take care and stay safe all.